Hi, my name is Brian, and I am the High Pop Professor. Welcome to Hobby Numbers Episode 4. In this episode, I have a PSA order that was returned fairly recently and that I'd like to go over and talk about how we did. You'll notice that the surroundings are a little bit different than my usual videos, and this is because that right now I'm actually visiting my parents in Pittsburgh, and this order was actually submitted through my dad. He has a PSA Collectors Club membership, and I don't. And so I had him sort of piggyback a few of cards of mine in with some of the bulk orders that he was submitting. And so these cards, you'll notice the certain numbers on them. They're not brand new. They're brand new to me, but they've actually been sitting here for about a month or two. And so you'll see that they begin with an 8-9 instead of the 9s. And these are not in the newest of the PSA slabs, but still, very excited to share this with you because this is the first time I've actually gotten these cards in hand. So I've known about this for a while and just happy to share this with you. And so for this episode, I'd like to do sort of a Chris Sewell style baseball card collector, investor, dealer in that order, analysis of how we did with my cards that I submitted. And Theo, Clemente Collector, does a good job with this as well. And so I'm going to try my hand at something similar to what they do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and turn the camera around and check out this order. Okay, I am super pumped to go over these. This is the order of cards we had here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I went ahead and listed all of the cards that were submitted in here with the estimated grade. And this is sort of what I thought they would be when I submitted them. I've got a column here for the actual grade, the total amount I have invested in these cards, including grading fees, what the new value would be, and the net value to see how we did with the result from every card. So I'm going to go ahead and do this sort of the way that Theo, Clemente Collector, does. And so let's go ahead and take these out. Now, I have looked at these already, so I already kind of know, but here, let's go ahead and do it this way. Okay. And yeah, we'll go ahead and start this off here. All right, so let me stand. Okay. So let's get things started off here. We've got the first card on our list here is a 96 Topps Sean Casey Power Booster rookie card. This is a special card for me. It is in fact the original card that I owned in my collection growing up. I was a big Sean Casey fan. My Conic Al and I had met him on a number of times, helped him collect his own cards. And so yeah, this is a 96 Topps Power Boosters rookie card. And I sent this card in, and I was thinking, it looked really good to me. I was thinking it's probably either a 9 or maybe even a 10. And so I put that down as the estimated grade. And we're going to take a look at the actual grade in just a second. This is a beautiful, beautiful Power Boosters card. Look at that beautiful shine from the 96 Topps set. And PSA gave me a mint 9. Beautiful. Beautiful card. So I'm going to write down under the actual grade here, we got a 9, which is what we wanted. That's fine. And for total value in, I'm assuming it's $20 for the grading fee is what I'm saying. I submitted this at the sort of $19 level. My dad is a Collectors Club member, and so gets that bulk rate. And as for the value of this card in a PSA 9, probably, honestly, it's probably pretty close to a break even. I'm going to call that $25 value, so net, we don't really have any particular gain or loss here. But that's fine. This is a card that's very significant to me in my history, and so I was happy to have it slabbed up. And yeah, I was going for the 10, but that's great. I'm really happy with it in a 9. All right. The next card we have on the docket here, this is one that actually falls a little bit outside the zone of what I usually go for. This is a 2007 Bowman Chrome And this is a gold refractor of Greg Maddux, numbered out of 25. And so I got this card. I had a, and I thought this card could come back in a 9. And so here it is. And on this card, we got a mint 9. Beautiful card. This is not a card I usually would go for. I thought this could be a 9. And this is a pop 1 with 0 higher. And so that's super cool. Really, really happy to have that. So let's go ahead and write this down. We got a 9 here, which is exactly what we were thinking we would get. And for total in, I got this card. It was about, $35, which was really great. Plus 5 shipping to 40, plus 20 to grade it, so 60 all in. And the new value for this card, now this is a tough one because it's a pop 1, but it's also numbered to 25, and it's just you don't see them that often. So for player collectors or set collectors, really tough to put a value on this. And like what it would actually sell for. Like I wouldn't balk if I saw something like this listed for $200. I don't think it would get that. But I'm going to go ahead and be pretty conservative here. I think if I were to sell this, and I'm not sure, I'm kind of on the fence about it. Originally, I had intended on selling this card, but I don't know. I'm going to think about it. But I do believe that at a minimum, if we're being conservative here, I'm going to go ahead and say that this card could sell for $100. I think that's not an unreasonable price to put on there. And so based on what I have invested in here, we're going to call this a net of plus $40. All right, and I didn't mention the first one. The first, Sean Casey, had a pop count of 47 with 22 higher. So that's that one there. Okay, moving on. The next one, this is a 99 all tops mystery finest refractor, Greg Maddux. Now this one, you can see on here, I thought this one had a shot at a 10. It looked really, really, really good. And so here it is. Let's see what we got. There it is, Gem Mint 10. What a beautiful card. Gorgeous card. I got this one online for about 10 bucks. Picked it up, just saw how beautiful it was. Realized that it was, had a really good shot at getting a Gem Mint grade. And so we did it. We got it. So here we go. So was this a 10? Yes, we got our 10. Fantastic. Total amount in, again, $10 for the card raw, 20 to grade, so 30 in altogether. As far as, and so this is a pop, this is a, what is this? Pop 22 with 0 higher is what this one is. And again, for value, tough to see value on these. There's like one listed for like 200 some odd, but that's a buy it now, and I don't think that it's worth quite that much. But I think this would reasonably sell, somewhere in the $50 to $100 range. And so I'm just going to go ahead and sort of split the difference and say that this is going to be a $75 card. And so coming from 30 up to 75, yeah, that's pretty good. That's going to be a plus $45. So we're doing well. We're doing well so far. All right, next one we have is a 2000 Topps Finest Refractor. Now this card, I thought it would be a 9, and the reason why is because on the back corner there was a very small, one of these bottom corners had a very small ding. Can't seem to get this to focus. Here we go. And I mean, gosh, it's really hard to see it on here, but it was only visible on the back. Really couldn't see it on the front, and so I was really just hoping for the 9, and this card got an 8. Near mint an 8. That's okay, because an 8 is great. And this is not a card that I'm going to be looking to sell anyway. This is a PC card. This is going to stick right with my Maddux refractor collection. And so let's go ahead and write that down here. So this is a PSA 8. Now this one, I bought it for about 30, but in 25 plus 5 shipping, and then to grade it was 20 more. And so the new value on this one, well, This one probably in a PSA 8. Not that I'm going to sell it, but if I were to sell it, probably about 30 bucks of value in a PSA 8. And so this one, we did take a little bit of a loss here. So minus 20 bucks. All right, moving on. The next one we have, and that was, by the way, that was a pop 1. It was a pop 1 with 9 higher. So again, the pop counts are pretty darn low for these 90s, early 2000s refractors. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of Greg Maddux refractors in this order. This is a 2000 Bowman Chrome Meteoric Rise refractor. And this card, again, I thought that it looked perfect to me. I thought this, could we get a 10 here? Let's find out. And so we got in this one a beautiful PSA 9, mint 9. And it is just a lovely, gorgeous, gorgeous card. Love this one. And so this one, let's go ahead and write that down. And with this one, it's you know, it's a little bit tricky to see. I mean, it's a pop 6 with 5 higher, and it's also tough to know what this would sell for. These cards, you know, because there are only 6 of them, they don't sell much in a 9. So I'm having to do a little bit of just sort of estimation, is sort of what I would say about this. I have $30 into it. I only bought the card for about $10. It was like $6 plus shipping, 20 to grade it. And so I think, pretty conservatively, I would say that this card, if I were to list it, I think I could probably sell this for about 50 in a PSA 9. And so we'll call this $20. And so that kind of makes up for the last one that I took a little bit of a hit on it. Okay, now the next one you have coming up here. Very, very excited about these. This is a 1997 Bowman Chrome International Refractor for Greg Maddux. And this thing, boy, let me this is an exciting card. This is a very exciting card for me. Now, it's a tough card to find. You don't see them that often. And if you look at what I predicted here, I did not predict anything great. I said maybe a 7 or an 8. And part of the issue was that the centering wasn't that great. It wasn't like terrible, but it definitely wouldn't be a 10 and maybe not even a 9, I don't know. And the other issue was that on the surface, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to get my loop out here and try to showcase this, but the background and the flag just had a couple of spots, a couple of areas where the printing didn't go through. And so this is just a gorgeous card. And yeah, looking at it now, the centering is actually better than I remembered it being. So, all right. And PSA, what did PSA do with this? So PSA gave this a mint 9. Wow. Okay. So that's a huge win, huge victory right there. And I am curious. I'm just really, really curious to see if this is going to translate. If I bring my loop here, I don't know if this is going to even come across, but I'm going to try to do this. You can see there are just a couple little spots like there. Yeah, I guess it does work out. And there, where like the flag, it just did not, it didn't take. And I looked very closely even without the loop, and I kind of saw those when I submitted them. Anyway, so anyway, very, very, very pleased with this card, this PSA 9. So that's a huge, huge win, huge victory. Let's put a 9 there. This card I got for about 50 bucks. I think it was 45 plus 5 shipping. Spent 20 to grade it, and just over the moon with this card. There's a pop 18 with 3 higher. And as far as the value is concerned, I mean, tough to say because this card doesn't really sell much. But I mean, I believe that if I sold this, I believe I could probably list it at about 200 or best offer and probably end up selling it for 150. And so this is a huge win. We're going to call this plus 80. So we are doing very, very well and just super stoked. Again, I didn't think that this card, I wanted to get it encapsulated, and hopefully I was hoping for the 8 really. But it's a beautiful card. I'm not intending on selling it. This is just gonna go in my refractor runs. And speaking of not selling, this next one, oh boy. This one gets me very excited. This is a 95 finest refractor, Greg Maddux. Now, this is not a perfect card. I was thinking probably an 8 or a 9 on this. And part of the reason I was thinking 8 or 9, well, take a look at it. One thing I think is interesting though about this card is that this is a variant that does not have the word refractor written right there in the green. Usually at the very top of this card, you should see the word refractor written on it. And I checked over 195 finest refractors for sale on eBay and the pictures to see if any others didn't say the word refractor on there, and none of them did. They all had that word written there. And so this card is just phenomenal. Wow. This thing is beautiful. It does have a very slight amount of hulking. You can see it over his shoulder. Just a little tiny bit. There is a refractor line right toward the right edge, a little bit. That's okay. We take those. But the centering on this card is better than about 90% of all the cards you see. In this orientation, the right border is usually very, very tiny, very, very skinny. And this is just gorgeous. Like dead centered. Oh, beautiful. All right, and so what did PSA do with this? Did we get the 8? Did we get the 9? We got a PSA Mint 9. Whew. Oh boy. So super, super pumped about this. Really, really pumped about that one. Okay, so here's the deal with this one. This one is a Pop 7 with 2 higher. Okay? Now, to be fair, this is the peeled version. This is the peeled one. And when I bought this card, I spent quite a bit on this card. In fact, this is one of the ones I talked about with the other day in my episode where I did, have you ever overspent on a card with FOMO? And you see what I put into this card. This is a card that usually should sell for about $50 all day if it were off-centered. But as it was centered, I ended up winning as a bid for about $125. And so with a grading fee of $145, I'm into this card for quite a lot. This is a big hitter for me. That being said, what the value is hard to say because they again don't really come up for auction much. But what I did see was that there was an auction that did sell. There was a buy it now PSA 8 that was very well centered like this one that sold for $150. And so if a PSA 8 sold for $150, I mean, I think conservatively, I think that was probably a little bit high, honestly, but it would not surprise me at all for this card to sell for $200 in its centered state, in its PSA 9 goodness. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down as, $200 of value, and we're going to call this a big win of $55. Okay. So we got another one coming up here. Also, a rather big one. You can already tell by the the refractor pattern from the back of this card. This is huge. Take a look. You can see the refractor pattern from the back. You see the embossed image there, and this can only be one thing. This is a silver embossed refractor from 97 Finest. Tough card to find. Really, really tough. This is one of those 1 in the 192 pack inserts with 50 possible cards to get. So the true odds are quite, getting quite tough for cards like this. Okay, and so this was a card that I was very excited about because I thought this probably could be, I wasn't sure. It looked, but I saw nothing wrong with this card. And so I was thinking maybe a 9. Maybe a 10. I don't know, but probably not. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous card. And PSA, we got a Mint 9. And I am just pumped about this. Super, super happy with this card. So, let's go ahead and write that in here. We got a 9. Now again, I bought this card for about 120, 125, and then plus 20 to grade it. And, you know, bought that as the raw value. And so again, with the PSA 9, the pop count is pretty pretty low on this. This is a pop 3 with 4 higher. So it doesn't come up that often, or at all, really. So I'm playing some guesswork here. I'm going to call this 200 once again for a PSA 9. And I think that's pretty reasonable. And just as with the other one, we've got a $55 gain. And so we are doing very well on this order so far. Very, very, very well. All right, moving on. Next one. We have a 97, and this is a Pinnacle certified Mirror Red. This was a card that I got that was, well, it was raw, but I already had the Mirror Blue and the Mirror Gold. And so I needed this to complete the rainbow. And so we got it. You see it in the back there, Mirror Red, Mirror Red. And I knew that this card had some refractor lines in it. And that's pretty typical, but very clean card otherwise. And so I was thinking, you know, maybe we get an 8. I had the other two that are graded in PSA 8s. They look very much like this. Really clean. It is in fact peeled. And PSA gave this one a mint 9. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. Love it. So shiny. Okay, so with a mint 9, let's go ahead and write that in. And this is interesting because this this mint 9, and these don't sell. This is a pop 5. And as it's a pop 5, you know, they don't really sell. I bought this for about, I think it was $55. And so plus the 20 grading fee means this is what I have into it. Again, I don't really know what this would sell for. I have to think that someone would probably want this though, $400. And so again, I'm not really planning on selling this. So I'm going to say plus $25. All right, 2 more left. The next one we have is kind of an obscure card. I don't really, this was one I was sort of on the fence about sending in the first place because it's not a card that really should be sent in for grading. The only reason I sent it was because I felt so strongly that it had a shot at getting a 10. And this was a 97 Topps Hobby Masters Greg Maddux insert. And this is not an expensive card. You can get this card for like $3. And so, you know, spending 20 bucks to grade a card that's a $3 card, you know, generally not recommended. But I looked at this card and it looked perfect to me. I could find nothing wrong. I was very confident that this would gem and get a 10, and I was right. We got a gem in 10. And so this is cool. I've already purchased another copy of this. I, in fact, do intend to sell this 10. And so that's what we're going to do. So we got it. We got the 10. Very happy about that. So we got it here. This is a pop 8 with 0 higher. Again, I had it for, you know, about $5 plus 20 shipping. And, you know, hard to know what this would sell for. There's one listed on eBay for a pretty high price, but I think that's, you know, it's a buy it now. And so I think pretty confidently that in a 10, this could sell for, I think 75 is a pretty reasonable amount. And we'll find out. But still, we did very well on that one. And finally, our last card. And the last one here, this was, so this was a card that in my estimation, I bought this, and really, in hindsight, I really should not have purchased this card. This is a Ken Griffey Jr., 99, all Topps Mystery Finest Refractor, and it's a beautiful card. But condition-wise, it was almost identical, I thought, to the 2000 Finest Refractor for Maddux, where I got a PSA 8. And I say it's identical in condition because the card is effectively perfect. No scratches, no dings. except for the very back bottom corner, there actually is a ding in the bottom back corner. And so, you know, I just figured, well, if I can get like, if I can hope for a 9. Now, if you remember, the Maddox got the 8, and I understand why. And I was really just hoping for the 9 on this card. So imagine my surprise when PSA somehow awards me with this beautiful Gem Mint 10 for this Griffey refractor, and it's just breathtaking. And again, I'm trying to remember which corner had this ding. I think it was the lower left. And I want to show this because this is in a PSA 10. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get this. And there's a ding in that lower left corner. I don't know if you can see it really well, but in the right light, it is totally there. Anyway, so there's your PSA 10. So I don't know, is that card that is of the same condition of an 8 or a 9, is that worth it for the 10 tax for you collectors out there? I don't know, you tell me. If you trust PSA, this is the quality of the 10s you're getting sometimes. You know, I don't really care too much about the number on that slab, but I do care about the number in my hobby account. And so if I can sell this card, which I am planning on doing, and funding either more cards or more grading orders or whatever it might be, that is awesome. So I was thinking it might be a 9, hoping for the 9 really. And but at this time we struck gold. We got our 10. So I bought this card. I probably overpaid a little bit for the raw card. I paid about 50 bucks on auction, 20 to grade it. Now the value of this is kind of all over the map. I saw 10 sell for $260. I saw them sell for $150. I saw them sell for $207. So I'm just going to put a number sort of right in the middle, and we'll call this 200. And so we'll call that 200 bucks, which means it really did very well here. This is a plus $130, and that's super great. So if we went ahead and added up all these numbers in the plus and minus column, I mean, I did very well. I got all 9s and 10s with only one 8, which is really, really, really great. Super, super happy about this. So really, we ended up with a, let's see here, this is a plus $480 of just value added net. This is beyond that cost of grading. So did very, very, very well. Really, really happy with this. And yeah, I'll probably sell about half of these. All the 10s I'm gonna sell. I've already reacquired copies of this Maddox Mystery Finest, the Hobby Masters. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and sell off those 10s and maybe a couple other ones like the Griffey as well. And maybe even 1 or 2 other ones. But yeah, thank you for coming along with me on this grading adventure.